Okay. First of all, thank you so much for coming on this webinar. The webinar title is a Gateway for Strategic Investment and Collaboration. We are going to talk a bit on the environment over here in Portugal and also about a few opportunities that would be there for investment. We have kept the format of the webinar very simple and we have not tried to make it very formal. Hence, please feel free to have a conversation with us during the webinar and also post the webinar. Uh, what we'll do is we will have a quick round of introduction and Mr. Paolo will introduce himself and also he will present a very short presentation. But the real essence of this would be the interactions and please feel free to ask as many number of questions. The total duration of this webinar will be around 20-25 minutes. So it's not going to be a very long kind of a webinar. So, Mr. Paulo, please proceed with what you have to say.
Hello to everyone. My name is Paulo Rosa. I'm the managing partner here in Crowe Portugal for the advisory and consulting services. I've been working in this area for some time now, and the majority of my work is around managing the company and also managing or working in the corporate finance area. Where we do a lot of M&A and consulting for companies and also helping investors buying companies and companies selling other companies. Going forward and starting the actual web, the information around Portugal. Just a brief idea of some key figures for those who aren't so familiar with that. Portugal, the capital of Portugal is Lisbon. We are around 10.6 million people, so very small regard the size of India. Our unemployment rate is around 6%. As you know, we are in the euro, so our currency is the euro. Our inflation rate is also controlled, 2.6%, and our average wage is around 1,600 euros, normally paid 14 times per year. The sectors we are more, let's say, predominant in our economy are the services with tourism, technology, and telecommunications. In the industry, we have textile, footwear, chemicals, automotive components, and agri-food that's coming up in the last decades. Agriculture also with a lot of wine, good wine. Olive oil, we're very strong also in olive oil, in the productions of olives and olive oil, and leaders in the world of pork production and distribution and things around pork. Our main commercial partners in terms of countries are our neighbors, Spain, also Germany, France, the United States of America, in UK, the Netherlands, and also China. Our GDP growth in 2024 was 1.9, and the forecast is around 1.8 for this year and 2.2% for 2026. The growth rates are not very strong, but nevertheless positive, and we think we can have a better performance in the following years. In terms of some news that has been dominant in Portugal around the renewables. Also, Portugal is a very renewable energy country, let's say. There's a lot of solar plants in Portugal, also some wind farms around. So this is one area that's growing a lot. And also, as we all know, the importance of the energy in these days with all the artificial intelligence and the consumption that this new technology demands. And also the tourism things. Portugal is very strong in tourism. A lot of tourists coming to Portugal. So that's a very strong sector with hotels, hospitality, all that stuff around restaurants, the tourism. In terms of Portugal, Crowe, in Portugal, we are here since '98. We have offices in Porto and Lisbon. The typical areas that we tend to work on or offer audit services, tax services, advisory and consulting, and also outsourcing. The audit services is the typical statutory audits. Not going to waste more time here. Tax, all the help that companies that come into Portugal, the global mobility services, we can help a lot there, and personally, and also obviously in terms of corporate wise. In terms of advisory and consulting, we have different lines of business, from grants and incentives, all the incentives and programs that are available here in Portugal. For example, for the Portugal 2030 program, to that kind of it's an incentive system that helps helps companies invest here in Portugal. Cybersecurity, we also have cybersecurity, information security, behavior consulting, all the due diligence for financial due diligence, tax due diligence, sustainability due diligence, all that area. And like I said, also corporate finance, where we have the M&A area, fundraising, things like that. Outsourcing is basically all the payroll and accounting services that we offer. Okay. In terms of attractability of Portugal, one thing that comes by is our English proficiency also. These are some rankings available. Also our education, with very good education, and also the graduates in science is quite a lot of quality in this area. And that's why there's a lot of international and multinational companies setting up some of the technology development facilities in Portugal. So this is where I think is a good advantage, and that we can offer around there. We also are kind of can be kind of a hub or entry point, more as an entry point for Europe, for some other countries, for non-European countries. Also from our side, we as you know, we have some relationships with our ex-colonies from Brazil, Angola, Mozambique. So these types of relationships are very interesting. So Portugal, sometimes there's some investments coming here because of that type of relationship that we have. And I would say that our political and judicial system is very stable. In terms of safety in Portugal, this is another strong point of Portugal in terms of safety, well-being of the people in Portugal. So good. As you know, businesses like stability, they don't like uncertainty. So this is something very, very important. Obviously, in these days with all this global uncertainty, it's tough, it's difficult. But nevertheless, I think that's one thing that we can kind of offer here in Portugal. I would say that in terms of, I don't know, taxation or set up procedures for companies in Portugal, Before stepping into these opportunities, I would say we have the typical firm legal entities that we set up is private limited companies or public limited companies. Those are the two most usual types of companies that we set up here in Portugal. The setup of or incorporation of a company is very quick. There's obviously nuances, but we can set up a company in 1 hour. So this is something also interesting. In terms of corporate tax or corporate income tax, we have a standard rate of 21%, just for acknowledge. For SMEs, it's lower, 17%, up to 25,000 euros of profit. In terms of VAT, the tax is around 23%. There's a normal VAT tax, and there's a reduced rates around 6 and 13% for some products and services. I think that's a quick overview of some things that we think are interesting for you to know. So probably stepping into some of these opportunities, I would like to say these are some opportunities, but we have others. It would be interesting to understand from your side. Then later on, you could send us in email or of the type of industries that you are looking for or open to invest in or to open business here in Portugal. That would help because depending on the sector or industry that you are open to invest, we can have other opportunities. Also, and another thing is around the size of the companies. Bigger companies, smaller ones. So I will be sharing these four, but just an example that you can then probe more for other opportunities. Landscape is a company specialized in premium solutions for retail shop fitting and brand activations. It has more than 15 years experience, and they are a very established and reference player in the Iberian market, with different turnkey solutions, combining personalized design, in-house production, and digital innovation for retail. The company has built a solid portfolio of international brands that they work for, ensuring a stable and growing revenue base. The figures are in terms of the turnover, the size and of the company, the EBITDA, to have an idea of the profits. This is a smaller company, but it's quite interesting operation. Going to the next one, we have Bridgepoint or Cloud Partner. Which one we can talk? Okay, Cloud Partner. Okay, well, Cloud Partner is a company specialized in IT solutions, adjusted to specific needs of its customers. They target big companies. The company operates under business-to-business model and offers IT services, the cloud services, and there's some small resale of hardware and software for the clients. They have revenues approximately around 2.5 million euros and EBITDA around also 240,000 euros. And they basically looking for an investor who can support them in an expansion plan. All the team is willing to continue within the business. They would like to be incorporated in a bigger company to help them grow. Okay, passing to the next one, Bridgepoint. Bridgepoint is a Portuguese transport and logistics company with more than 22 years of experience operating in the national and international markets. The company offers complete freight transport solutions with operations in Lisbon and Porto, with privileged access to major highways, international airports, and seaports. Basically, in this area, they stand out for their flexibility approach and personalized services to its customers. They have also, in addition to the land transport, it offers storage services. They have 4,500 square meters of covered areas, and sometimes they also offer, sometimes they have punctually sea freight and air transport also. In terms of the revenues, it's more or less 17 million euros company with 800,000, 900,000 K of EBITDA. And the last one I would just like to talk is this Global Energy Management is a reference group created more than 40 years ago, which operates globally in the engineering and management service sector, specifically in project management and supervision, also coordination of safety on site, studies and technical assistance, also maintenance of systems and infrastructures, and also data center projects. They in 2023 they had a turnover around 25 million euros and EBITDA around sorry, the numbers. These numbers, okay, to be determined. 300. They had a bad year in 2023, and in 2024 we are still to be determined the numbers, because they had a subsidiary outside Portugal that they sold, and so the numbers are affected by that. And basically, these are the companies that we were, the opportunities that we'd like to offer to you or to present you. And if you have any questions or if you any other things that you would like to know about, please feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Paulo. I would like to add a few points. So the first thing is that I can vouch for all the things that Paulo has said, because I've been living over here for last 2.5 years in Portugal. So whatever Paulo has told about the environment, about the stability, about the various aspects of it, it's I have seen this in the day-to-day life. Um, a few additional points. One is Portugal has a very strong startup ecosystem. So it is very strong and very serious. So there's something called a Startup Portugal, and it's a really growing kind of a ecosystem. I interact with a lot of US and Canada-based companies, and they always say that Portugal becomes the midpoint, kind of a midpoint for India. So midpoint may not be in terms of the distances, but maybe in terms of the time zones. So that is the advantage which it also has. And when we say Portugal is a gateway, so there are 2 points over here to be classified into the gateway. One is it is a gateway to the former colonies. So once you enter the Portugal market, you have a very good access to the former colonies, which is Angola, Mozambique, and also to an extent to Brazil, because there's a common language. The second part is with respect to the EU. And Portugal, in terms of you take the different parameters what Paulo has mentioned in terms of the lowest wage structure or setting up. I think it's a very good proposition. So this is all that we had to share in this particular webinar. We are open for questions over here. Also, we will share a Google form, a link of the Google form. Please fill out, and we would be happy to engage with you at a later date on one-to-one basis. So, Nicola, if you could just share the link of the Google form, and we'll give you probably 10 or 15. Yeah, it's posted in the chat, and let us know if there are any questions that come to your mind, or you can engage with us at a later date, and we could have a discussion as well. Okay, we have one comment, not a question. Okay. I think we can conclude this webinar at since there are no further questions. I would like to thank Mr. Paulo for taking off his
Thank you.
time, and we also have we could engage at a later date whoever is willing to on one-to-one basis. So thank you so much for attending this to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Paulo. Thanks, Nicola, and looking forward for more interactions in future. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much to all of you.